This video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all.
Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel and I am very excited to bring you something different for once. This is exactly why I do what I do, okay? Every now and again, I get to share something with you that you're not going to find on other YouTube channels. And that's exactly why I do this. I love the craft. I love to continue to progress towards mastering the craft. Always the student, never the master. But like I said, I've got something very, very exciting to show you. And that is a rare set of conditions for Bitcoin. Okay, this is so rare that since the 2022 bear market lows, this has only fired 3 times. This is the 3rd time this 4-year cycle that we have seen this set of conditions. And those sets of conditions are, we have now reached, for a short period of time, an objective set of market conditions. Now, TA, by nature, is subjective. Almost all of the time, if you give a chart to 10 different traders or 10 different analysts and say, do some TA on that, they will most probably come up with 10 different analyses and 10 different expectations for what is to come in the following set of price action. And this of course confuses a lot of new traders because people come on the channel and they go, oh great Camel, so it can go up or down, right? And yeah, that's absolutely the case because like I said, most of the time TA is subjective. It's a set of probabilistic outcomes and we have to take a bet based on those probabilistic outcomes, of course, whilst maintaining risk management. But there are rare sets of conditions where TA ceases to be subjective and for a short period of time it becomes objective, meaning there is now a correct way to interpret the charts and everyone else is wrong, okay? And I know you might be thinking, what are you talking about? How can we have certainty in a market, right? Blah, blah, blah. Just hear me out. And I'm going to show you because this is the 3rd time it's happened. I showed the prior 2 times it occurred on the channel. I'm going to play you the clip so you can see just what I'm talking about. And most importantly, okay, you can use this to identify, number 1, whether it is the right time to be bullish or bearish right now. And number 2, you can also use it to identify those people on YouTube or on Twitter that are married to an idea. They are dogmatic, they are potentially not real traders, or if they are real traders, they're going through a rough patch, right? Or for some reason they've got over emotional on a particular setup. So armed with this knowledge, it is going to make you, number 1, a better trader, number 2, be able to position objectively, and number 3, like I said, you're going to be able to identify those people that are just ill-equipped to deal with the current set of market conditions. So I'm going to show you the prior 2 times that we saw this. I called it out live on the channel, and I used the term, it is malpractice to be bearish here. And then what I'm going to show you is today's set of conditions where once again it is malpractice to be bearish. Since having this channel, I have posted 972 videos. Maybe I need to find a girl, mate. But I spent all morning skimming through these and trying to find the video where I said this, and I found it for you. So first of all, I want to play you this, okay? This is right down at the bear market lows. Starting off with Bitcoin, as expected, as suggested, we have broken out. We are above this blue line here from the low back in June. So all I can do is respect the charts. I know some people will be thinking, yeah, well, what if it rolls over? What if this? That's what stops are for, okay? I'm going to let my stop do my worrying for me. I don't have to do anything from here. I'm long, I'm strong, and we should, in theory, have a full 60-day cycle ahead of us now. So this should take us out somewhere in the neighborhood of the 2nd week of March before we can drop into a cycle low. So I expect at least around 40-45 days of run up here. I expect another 1 or 2 daily cycles to unfold after that, and both of those I expect to be bullish. So of course, as ever, 1 day at a time, but for now. So that was me getting long at the lows. Now, when I did, the channel OGs, a few of them were like, happy days, okay, let's see how this goes. But many people here were giving me heat because consensus in the market at the bear market lows when I acquired a spot allocation and got my first supplemental trade positions on publicly, a lot of people were giving me heat for this and saying, no way, consensus is we're going down to 12, 14, 10K, whatever the number was. And so to justify this, I showed in this video here a few days later that it was indeed malpractice to be bearish above 18K.
It's malpractice not to take a long upon recapture of 18K. And for me, that level was actually 17.6K, the low from back here in June.
So this was the first set of conditions where I said, okay, it is malpractice to be bearish once we violate the level at 17.6 and then recover it, hence the long position from the lows. I also stacked a second long position out of the following set of circumstances where it was malpractice to be bearish. So here is that clip for you around the 25K level. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin just continues to waste everybody's time and interest at the moment, doesn't it? Absolutely nothing has changed, has it? So do I really need to repeat myself? I'll do it quickly in case you're new here. All the while this cycle low is not taken out, the thing is still bullish. All the while this yellow horizontal is still confirming that we have flipped the bottom into support from resistance. The thing is still bullish, and all the while this local low from the prior cycle low is not taken out. The thing is still bullish. So all the while those conditions are not violated, the only thing that's reasonable to expect is something like this and a breakout. I know a lot of people want to say, yeah, well, it's bearish, 10k, 12k next. Yeah, well, it's just malpractice. It's malpractice to be bearish until we lose this range breakout in yellow. It's just malpractice. You're wrong. Okay, so there I go again, telling everyone it was malpractice to be bearish all the while we were above 25k, just as it was malpractice to be bearish from that 18k level back here. Needless to say, okay, we continue to trade this thing all the way up and blah, 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 blah. You already know the story. But what we have, objectively speaking, is a very rare setup today. Okay, fast forward to today, and it is currently malpractice to be bearish until we are back below 74k. So anyone that has any kind of bearish tone, anyone that says anything about being bearish here for Bitcoin, I am once again here to tell you it is malpractice to be bearish all the while we are above this 74k level. And so once again, you know, these conditions, they're super rare. This is only the third time in this entire 2 years of this 4-year cycle that we've seen this set of conditions occur. TA, like I said, for the most part is subjective. Many people will have heard me say many times, TA is completely worthless. Okay, it is risk management that actually makes a profitable trader, not TA. Anyone, and including my dog, I'm sure I could teach my dog TA in 15 minutes or less. Okay, it's not a skill set. It is our egos that want to convince us that we have a skill set because we can pull a Fibonacci retracement on a chart, or we can use the fractal to copy and paste, or we can draw a trend line connecting the wicks or the candle bodies. Okay, let's be honest, anyone could teach this to a toddler. It is not TA that has any value. It is your ability to manage risk around said TA that gives you the value. We happen to right now be in an objective circumstances. This is incredibly rare for markets. Like I said, only occurred 3 times. You can see the prior 2 times, okay, 1 enabled us to long the lows, 2 enabled us to stay long through here, because markets have short memories, camels do not. Okay, in here, like I said earlier, the consensus was a new low, 12, 14, 10k, whatever the number was. Here it was biggest bull trap of all time, new lows. Here it was, okay, maybe there's something to this. Nope, it's bearish, it's going back to the lows, if not below them. And again, having this one simple trick of understanding when it is malpractice to be bearish enabled the Camel Crew to stay winning and handle this part of the cycle better than almost everybody. And here I am again today to share with you this piece of pristine alpha. Okay, it is now malpractice to be bearish, all the while we're above this red level about 74k. Okay, so anyone that is bearish here, anyone that is bearish with candles and price trading above this level is wrong. And this is not up for debate. You know me, I'm happy to say things like, I'm wrong all the time, I'll be wrong in the future. You know me, okay? I've been wrong plenty of times, I will be wrong plenty of times. You also know me, okay? It's not about being right or wrong, it's about staying on the right side of the trade. But right now, this is an incredibly rare setup because you are either bullish or you are wrong. Okay, and like I said, very, very rare situation. We saw it back here and we saw it back here. Now we've got it repeating again. So if anyone out there is being bearish right now, understand this, you are objectively incorrect. And this is why I do what I do, because every now and again, something like this comes around and I get to point at it and share it with you guys to make you guys better at this craft as well. So of course, trade below the red, and then we can start to be bearish. But today is the second daily candle that we are spending above here. Of course, it hasn't updated yet because this is the BLX. By the time we get to 2, 3, 4 daily candles, we are entering price discovery, and everyone that is bearish is going to be left in the dust, just like they were left in the dust in the prior 2 instances. So what a wild time to be alive. Super, super, super excited to share this with you today. And whilst we're here, I know a lot of people get really shy about buying the all-time high. Price cannot ever move into expansion into uncharted territories without first breaking through the all-time high level. Since we are currently through the all-time high level, there is no overhead resistance here. I know everyone's been worn down to a nub in this area. I know everyone has been doubting this rally the whole way up, only to buy the top and then sell the bottom. Okay, but the reality is, like I said a million times, it is malpractice to be bearish here. The only way we can start to put bearish scenarios on the table is to see a trade below this red line. Okay, we need to see daily candle closes back below this 74k-ish level. And until such time as that happens, every single bear in this universe is wrong. How awesome is that? I hope you appreciate this as much as I do. This is why I do what I do. I absolutely love this stuff. And just like when we were in this neighborhood here, I was saying, let's think about it in hindsight. If we break above, we retest support and hold, and then resume off, we'll be able to look back at that in hindsight and say, well, yeah, of course, we flipped resistance into support, held it for a bunch of time, and then resumed off, okay? The exact same thing, in fact, let me just move this from here, could occur from here. Okay, if we have this major resistance that goes back for 7, 8 months, however long it is, okay, and we hold it above support and then resume to the upside, Will this not be really, really obvious in hindsight? It doesn't even need to spend as much time doing that. It could simply be something like this and go. And again, okay, it would be really obvious in hindsight. Well, yeah, of course it moved higher because we had a huge resistance level that we flipped to support. And needless to say, it is malpractice to be bearish under these conditions. I have almost nothing else to say apart from long and strong. Let's see what the market can give. Don't give any bears any attention or energy whatsoever until that major level is violated. And all the while it's not, then again, I say they are completely flat wrong. Not only that, okay, the market closes as of yesterday were starting to look very, very wild. Okay, the Dow Jones in a single candle was up something like 1,500 points. It gapped to here and then closed at all-time highs. I'll show you that in just a minute. Puts this whole third and final angle, not even being in yet, back on the table. Pretty exciting, pretty wild. And I believe gold has topped for the weekly cycle now. Why is that so significant? I keep showing this over and over again. Gold in blue here, okay, when it tops and moves lower, tends to see Bitcoin emerge from a consolidation and run to new highs. We saw the same thing here. Gold tops out of its weekly cycle and moves towards its weekly cycle low as Bitcoin breaks from its consolidation. Exactly the same thing here. Tops, weekly cycle low, Bitcoin emerges from its consolidation. And today, I believe we have now found the top for that weekly cycle. We're going to be looking for a weekly cycle low in the next 3 to 6 weeks. And Bitcoin, at the same time, right on schedule, has emerged from its consolidation. Absolutely wild times. And of course, it brings back one of my favorite charts ever, which is Bitcoin priced in gold. If something like this is to play out, okay, and think about it, this makes perfect sense. We've got gold breaking down and expected to enter a sharp decline for the next 3 to 6 weeks whilst it finds that weekly cycle low, occurring at the same time as Bitcoin is entering price discovery, telling us that Bitcoin is going to vastly outperform here. Bitcoin should be about to start to gain thousands of dollars per week to the upside at the same time as gold is going to start to lose tens, hundreds of dollars per week on its way down to that weekly cycle low, thus fueling an absolutely monstrous parabolic advance in the Bitcoin to gold ratio. And somewhere around this 100 plus ounces of gold per Bitcoin will be me looking to exit a chunk of my Bitcoin into gold. If I pop into the Bitcoin chart, okay, Bitcoin continues to do Bitcoin things. This is not a bearish setup, as I've said a million times. Long and strong, starting to hope for a little bit of a pullback here, okay? But one thing I'm noticing is people are very, very underexposed to this move. I had lots and lots of comments from people on Twitter and on YouTube yesterday saying, Camel, can I buy now? Camel, is it okay to get in here? Camel, will there be a pullback? Camel, I was waiting for 40K and what do I do? Right, a lot of people are underexposed to this move, and the horrible thing about that is when that is the backdrop of a breakout, we tend to see big violent lockout squeezes. I have been playing this via the crypto related equities and the mining stocks because I think they're going to give, number one, higher percent rewards, and number two, I can get tighter stops on many of these positions. So level 3 members continue to look out for more and more setups there. I'm taking my time as always, okay? I'm not trying to rush in and chase any of these big gaps, but I do think we're going to continue to see some very, very nice setups and outperformance in these crypto related equities. There's another 10 or so. And for the member that kept asking me about BT, I've added that to the list, so we'll cover that. We'll cover that next time we do that. Gold, like I said, has probably topped for the weekly cycle now, okay? Long time coming. What do we expect? Daily cycle 5 to left translate, and here's the key part, fail on its way down to that weekly cycle low timing window down here in red. I also am wondering if it's going to look something like this. Okay, so we get a daily cycle, a grind, and then we lose that angle into a weekly cycle low. That's kind of what I expect to see from gold. And of course, the metals and minor positions should also present huge opportunity down here. Something we were covering in the member section was Newmont mining. Okay, I gave a signal in here for a buy. I actually sold out of this way too early, but many of the members stayed long and strong and caught this move better than I did, so well done to you guys. But this is exactly what a weekly cycle top looks like. I would expect this to resolve pretty soon to a counter trend bounce again that rolls over, makes another new low into that weekly cycle low time frame, and then I believe we've got a massive opportunity to load up on mining stocks, metal mining ETFs, that kind of stuff. But this is kind of what I would think is going to happen to gold in the not too distant future. Maybe not as aggressive as this, because obviously this is a higher beta asset. And for the level 3 members, I've also been putting together a list of individual mining stocks that we're going to go through out of that weekly cycle low. I think they're going to be really good holds for the longer term accounts, so I'll show you that as well in the not too distant future. The stock market, look at this, okay? Gap up and close at record highs for the S&P, also recovering that third and final angle. NASDAQ as well, look at this, gap and closing at all-time highs. Wild times to be alive. And the Dow Jones, okay? Started to fire a few warning signs, and then in a single candle, gaps, closes at all-time highs. So this is starting to look eerily like a big blow-off top move is imminent. Notice how as well my patience in the VIX waiting for new lows seems to be coming to fruition. But remember, what it tends to do is squeeze to the downside and then explode as everything comes tumbling down. So whilst it's super bullish in the short term, okay, the reason I want to play this is to hedge the risk for when something breaks. So again, playing a bit patient has worked out there. The Russell 2K as well. Remember I was saying not too long ago that my thought was if it doesn't find a weekly cycle low and make a new high soon, then it's not going to. And instead I'd be looking for more of a distribution type top like this to come in. Happy days though, okay? We got the breakout, happy days. Should be looking for 2,700 and anything above there is the gravy. Meanwhile, the Dixie, okay? We need this current daily cycle to left translate and fail to put on lower numbers and a 3-year cycle low not being in. Otherwise, we probably have a 3-year cycle low and a 15-year cycle low in, and all the familiar symptoms of a deflationary crash, bear market and recession, which would be expected to accelerate as not only the next CPI print comes in lower, but also as the stock market breaks down from its parabolic blow off top angles, okay, forcing investors to flee the stock market and hide in the short-term safety of the dollar, putting a massive bid under the dollar, creating this huge relative strength, and that is how you get this deflationary type crash. So super exciting times, okay? We're probably going to get ridiculously outsized gains going forward for the next few months. But again, I still am quite concerned that there is not the length of months left in this rally that the majority of the market participants will think. Other than that, okay, I'm going to keep taking my time, keep finding quality setups to get underneath. No FOMO, okay, nice and objective. No need to rush any of this stuff. And we've got an incredibly rare setup that I shared with you earlier, which is, of course, very, very powerful to understand. If you made it this far, comment yellow squiggle. And until next time, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Camel Finance, he's the man to see. Rocking the markets with his contrarian spree. Trades like a pro, no fear, no shame. Sticking to his guns in his money game.